I'm Grayson of DebtRoundup.com and iMark Interactive. You might see me in the Facebook group helping people with WordPress problems. It's kind of my thing. This is Charlotte.
Hey guys, I'm really glad that you're here joining us for Blogging 101. I hope you're true beginners. If you are not a true beginner, this is not the class for you. But we're glad you're here. My name is Charlotte Baker. I partner with my daughter on her website, TeensGotCents, and help her. I'm her personal assistant, basically, and help her with her conference called the Teenpreneur Conference. So Grayson and I are here today because we really wanted to give some very basic information and just a basic overview of how to get started blogging for people who just started their blogs or don't even have one yet, and you're just thinking about getting one started. So we're going to keep it very basic, but we're also trying to give plenty of time for questions, and so we do want you to be able to ask questions as we go along. We have an agenda, and we're going to try to follow that, but we want to give, again, plenty of time for questions. We have an agenda, Grayson.
I don't do agendas. I'm kidding.
I have an agenda.
You'll find out real quick, I don't really do agendas. It's not my thing. All right, so who actually has a blog? Who started a blog? Woo! So I'm either assuming the rest of you have not, or thought about it, or on the fence. Who has at least done the research to go, yeah, this is what I'm doing? Man, really? I feel like I'm missing some hands here. So people were probably just sitting in here going, I'm not really sure why I'm here. That's okay. It's okay. We'll hopefully figure it out. So, really, FinCon is about, financial bloggers. Either you share your personal story about, debt, investing, helping somebody with their money problems, retirement. There's a whole gamut of things. I started my debt blog, Debt Roundup, in 2012 because I shared a story where I paid off $75,000 of debt in 4 years. But I have been blogging since 2004 in a large foray of fun topics. But this is the one that actually did something. All the others were just fun. This is actually a business. So ever since I started my blog, things kind of changed. I went to my first FinCon. And basically after that, my whole life has changed. I now work for myself, have a very successful services business on top of the blog. I work from home, which is fun and not fun at the same time for all those that have done it. So we're basically going to run down the basics of blogging. And I will tell you, I'm going to run over some different platforms that you guys could use, but I am a WordPress guy, so I will most likely stick to WordPress. I can show you the other ones because I know how to use them, but they're not really my forte. But I will give you options. So the people that do have blogs, do you guys have how did you figure out your domain? Like, type in your www. How long did it take you? Forever, right? Well, the hard part nowadays is that the .coms are running out. You could sit there for days searching every .com that you possibly can figure out until your head explodes. It used to be fun and easy, and you have those people that buy domains and resell them at $1,000 just because they want to. So you kind of work around that. But the good thing is that the .com really doesn't matter anymore. There are hundreds of endings now: .co, .net, .blog, .me, .ninja. I think there's .cheese. I mean, if you have a cheese blog, I don't know why you'd be here, but so obviously the first step if you're going to be a blogger and you're going to take it seriously is you want your own domain. You can go to a WordPress.com or Blogger, and you can get your own domain like debtroundup.blogspot.com or debtroundup.wordpress.com. A lot of people start out that way. It's free, gets you in the foray. But if you want to take this seriously, you need your own domain. You need something to you need something to put on a business card. You don't need it that long. That's too much. People don't remember a lot of blogspot.com domains. So that's going to be your first step. And really, the way that you find them is really just, if you got something in your head, go to GoDaddy.com or Namecheap and just start going into the search box and just start typing away. And it'll tell you if it's available or not. as some of these people, it's taken forever. You'll get really excited about a domain name, and it's taken. And then, you might have a little day or two to recover, and then you go, wait a minute, I can do, let's try this. Or just the one thing, don't throw hyphens in your domain name. It's not the greatest thing. People don't remember hyphens. Like, I never throw a hyphen in a domain name. If you can do without a hyphen or multiple hyphens, try to go for it. It's going to be a little bit better for you. But don't get stuck on the first domain name that you catch. Don't get so excited that you're like, it's got to be this. I'm going to pay $13,000 for this bad boy. That's probably going to be a mistake. So really, how long did it take Eva to find TeensGotCents? Don't tell me like 30 minutes, because I'll walk away.
I don't even remember. I think it was actually less than that because she spelled it with C-E-N-T-S.
There you go.
Okay. Well, you don't want to do Girls Got Sense because you don't want to have girls in your domain name. Let me tell you that much. We found that out real quick.
That's also a good thing to remember is always try to look at your domain name on how it's done in other countries. Because remember, just because you're in the U.S. doesn't mean that just U.S. people are going to reach your site. So if it means something derogatory in another land or like another, you might want to skip it.
Yeah.
You got to think about those kind of things. I do a lot of domain name changes for people. It's because they got so excited about this domain name and then realized it was like attached to a adult type of act, or something like that. And basically they've been working on it for like 3 years and now they got to change everything. It can be a lot of work, and that extra day or two of research will probably help you out in the long run.
Absolutely. And if you can get your name, we can't get Eva's name. We can't get evabaker.com. Somebody else owns it. It's a dead site. They won't respond. We've tried to get that domain name. Doesn't happen. We can't get it. So we let that go. But if you can get your name, I would say get your name, because even if you're going to go with some sort of like Debt Roundup or TeensGotCents, you still want to have your name if you can get it now, because you may want to move or at least have a separate site, and we don't have that option. So I just want to back up for a real quick to get started and just go over, you need to have a headshot. Please, if you're not going to be anonymous as a blogger, you need to have a decent headshot. It can be something that a friend took. You don't have to have a professional photographer take your headshot, but you need to have a headshot because you need to have a gravatar. And Grayson's going to show us how to set up a gravatar. Does anybody know what a gravatar is? Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Very good.
A gravatar is basically a global avatar. Okay, it's what it is that there is a system called Gravatar that if you use WordPress sites or actually a lot of services use them now, if it's attached to your email. When you comment on somebody's blog or you sign up for something and then all of a sudden you see your face there, you go, what the heck? That's a gravatar. It's using this service that pulls in whatever image you attach to your email address. So you can change it. You can change it however you want. Makes it really easy. But WordPress in general uses gravatars when you comment, on anybody's blog that uses WordPress, or you reply to people on yours. It shows whatever headshot you have. If you don't have a headshot, you can use your blog logo. It's a great way to do it. A gravatar is only about like 136 pixels by 136 pixels. It's not very big. So don't have all this like crazy detail in there. No one's gonna be able to see it. It's pretty small.
But it allows you to be seen across the web. So that means that whenever you comment on another person's blog because you're trying to build relationship there, whenever you're trying to do anything, leave a comment anywhere, it's going to pull that picture that you've uploaded as your gravatar. And you want it to be the same everywhere, right? You want your gravatar to be your logo or your headshot, and you want it to appear everywhere so that if people are looking for you, they know that they've found you because they see that same image everywhere. So what you see on the screen is Grayson kind of working through that for us.
Yeah, so these are a couple of my gravatars. Obviously, you can have multiple email addresses if you have multiple sites. If you have team members, that write for you, you can give them an email address and they can have their own gravatar if they don't want to set one up. Super simple. All you have to do is basically add an email address. I'm not going to add one right now because I don't have any more. But you add one, then it'll ask you what image you want to attach to it. You'll pull an image off your computer or wherever you have it saved, and then it'll ask you to crop it. It's about 500 by 500. So if you have a 3,000 pixel by 1,500 pixel image, it's going to be a little distorted. You need a square image. And then you basically, you have to tell it if it's rated G or R, because on some sites, like if you come to Debt Roundup and you have a rated R image, I'm not going to show it because there are kids that come to my site. Same thing with like TeensGotCents. She's not going to let rated R images show up on her Gravatar. So you do have a little bit of control on, some things that come in. But my wife, I set one up for this demo basically. It's kind of hard to see, but this is about the size of a Gravatar. You can't see a lot of detail. That's my wife and my son. So when you're in WordPress, which I'll show you in a little bit, when you add that email address, that Gravatar is now attached to the email address. If I go comment on other people's sites, that's what's going to show up. And if you want to change it, like if you want to start out with your blog logo and then you want to be more personal and be, you or whatever you want, you can change it easy in gravatar.com. So super simple. So for those that haven't started a blog, if you're looking at, I'll give you 3 main platforms that you can use. There are more, but let's be serious. Those are the 3 main ones. So there's WordPress, there is Blogger, and there's Squarespace. You don't usually use Wix or Weebly for blogging. You'll go down a rabbit hole real quick, and it's not very fun coming back out of that rabbit hole. The place where people get confused with WordPress is that there's 2 flavors. There is a WordPress.com hosted version where you can either get your name at .wordpress.com, or you can use your own domain there. It is a paid service. So if you go to Google and you just type in WordPress, that's not going to work. You'll actually see both of them there, and this is where I get most of my questions from, is because they don't know which one to go. WordPress.com up here is an ad on Google. So you see WordPress, you go, that's what I want. You go to it. The problem with WordPress.com is that it's a hosted environment and they control every aspect of it. Okay? You don't get the control that you do with what we call self-hosted, which is all the way down here, about the third one in the actual natural rankings and the 5th one all the way down. This is WordPress.org. This is what we call self-hosted. So when you hear people tell you, let's go self-hosted, this is it. This is actually a download of a bunch of files that then turn into a site. The thing is that when you use WordPress.org self-hosted means you got to have a host. These are Bluehost, SiteGround, HostGator. I'm going to say GoDaddy, but I'm going to shake my head and I'll tell you why in a minute. And there are hundreds, maybe thousands of them.
Hundreds. Yep.
It can get really overwhelming. When you first start out, you really only need shared hosting, and what that means, in a nutshell, is that your site is on a server with about 1,000 others. Okay, so you're all sitting there on this one server, and you're all using the same resources on that server. So there could be some downtime, and what that means is that your site can go down because somebody on that server is using a little bit too much. But that's also the cheapest option to get you in, right? You don't want to jump down and go, I'm going to pay $50 a month on this great hosting, and you're just starting out. It's probably not going to be a great idea. And the beauty is you can always change your hosting at any point in time. You're not stuck in something. You don't have to pay for it and go, well, gosh, I got to wait 3.5 years until I get out of this contract. No, you don't. Just move, ask for a refund, call it a day. Do it all the time. If you don't want to go with WordPress, you can go with Blogger. That is Google's service. It's free to start out, but then you have to pay for, it's not that much money. I think if you want to use your own domain, you have to pay. Same thing with WordPress.com. It's a hosted, closed environment. They only allow you to do what they allow you to do. If you want to do these crazy opt-ins and stuff like that, they don't provide it, you're out of luck. Just kind of move on and go do something else. Try something else. So I'm not a big fan of closed environments, but there are instances when they work. Squarespace is a great platform for static sites. And a static site, I mean, it's like a business site, photography site, something that you're not going to be blogging on, creating articles on a regular basis. Because it is an utter nightmare when you want to do blogging on Squarespace on a long run. If you want to make this a business, don't use Squarespace for blogging. It's great for static sites that you just, a couple pages, here's my business, great drag and drop editor, but not really meant for blogging. I wouldn't particularly choose it, and I actually move a lot of people over because they get to a wall and they go, uh-oh, I picked the wrong one. And that's not that fun to move.
So just for fundamentals, I want to make sure that everyone understands what we're talking about. A domain name is your www.yourgreatwebsitename.com or .net or .ninja or whatever you choose. That's your domain name. Everybody got that? That's how you have to buy your domain name. It is not free. You have to go somewhere on the internet like GoDaddy or some other better company if you can find it.
Namecheap, Hover, even Google has domains now.
And they run 99-cent specials. So you can get a
GoDaddy
cheap note.
does.
Okay.
Namecheap, they don't play that price game. But the thing is,
I bought one for 88 cents on Namecheap.
On Namecheap.
Look at
Beautiful.
you.
88 cents.
Oh, you do have this. They have those as random sales.
So that's
I actually have a small one on there I got for like 30 cents.
good.
Stack coupons.
Yep. So that's your domain name. Then your hosting company is the company who stores your website somewhere in a warehouse, somewhere with air conditioning and big computers. They store your website. You have to have a place to store your website. You have to have a home. You have to have a place for it to live. That's your hosting company. So you have your domain name, you buy that, you buy it for a couple of years, mark it on your calendar so you don't lose it and don't renew it, and somebody else swoops in and gets your domain name. Then there's hosting. You can get that through a number of companies. And what would you say? Shared hosting is where you don't have your own server in that building somewhere, you're sharing it with other bloggers. That's the way to go when you're first getting started, because let's be honest, it's like your mom is going to be reading your blog in the beginning, right? Like you don't need all that. So what's the
My
least
mom didn't even
expensive?
read my blog.
Well, I did read my kid's blog, but I did.
It's okay.
So where's the best deal that they can go for shared hosting that's not going to cost them $50 a month? Because I'm assuming for most of us, we needed to go as cheap as we could when we were getting started because we weren't making any money yet. So where's the least expensive place they can host their blog?
So there are a number of options. I'm actually a fan of SiteGround. They have really good customer service, really fast speed servers. All the shared hosting companies out there will give you this special promo deal. It's kind of like the cable, we're like, hey, come on in here. We'll give you this nice deal for X amount of years. Every host does it. So don't think that like, hey, I'm getting this great deal. When you have to renew, that's when the price goes up. But like SiteGround will do $395 per month for up to 3 years. So if you think about it, you're really not paying that much, and I hope that you're making money after 3 years.
Could you clarify that name, please?
SiteGround. SiteGround.com.
SiteGround, SiteGround.
Sorry, I couldn't see it. You're in the cheap seats.
Upgrade your tickets next time. Now, I mean, you'll see a lot of getting started blogs out there that do, like Bluehost, HostGator, GoDaddy. Don't use GoDaddy. Please don't use GoDaddy. Again, don't use GoDaddy. Why? Because they use about 7-year-old technology. Their support doesn't know how to handle it. downtime constantly, and it's just terrible. I deal with thousands of sites per month on a daily basis, per month, thousands of sites that I have to fix. GoDaddy, Bluehost, HostGator are the top ones that I have to deal with that are not good. So,
And you know, your site going down for an hour in the beginning might not matter. But 3 years down the line, when you're making money on your site, being down for a day or half a day or a few hours, it will matter to you then. So, you know, if you can go with a better hosting company that's $3.95 a month, I think the $4 is worth it.
yeah.
Question?
Bluehost, HostGator. They are owned by a company called EIG, which owns about 60 hosts. What they do, Bluehost used to be excellent. They used to be really good. They got bought out by EIG. EIG wiped out all their support, moved them all into one data center. Now they're all in this little conglomerate, and you know, like I think in March they let go 400 of their 700 support staff, and expected 300 to take the. So you can be on wait for an hour and a half on a phone call. You know, like waiting for something to happen, and they're just. I have the unique view if I get to see all this stuff daily. Like, you'll see a lot of people, and I'm going to give you a little insight into the beginner bloggers realm. If you've ever read a How to Get Started blog guide, you've probably seen use Bluehost, use HostGator or something. Mm-hmm. Every one of those people are getting paid, all right? I get paid when I use if you like go mine, you'll see SiteGround. But guess what? I use SiteGround. I know they're good, and I will actually change out my recommendations based off of, if they go downhill, they're off. I kick them off just like that. A lot of people, some of them don't even host on Bluehost. Like, they don't even, like.
But they get paid $34.95 every time you sign up for Bluehost. So, and
They get paid $60 every time.
Oh, man. That's a lot of money. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of bloggers who use affiliate income to make money on their sites. Mm-hmm. And Grayson just has some specific recommendations because he's constantly fixing sites that are with some of these hosting companies that don't offer great customer service. That means that if you call them, they may not be able to help you fix your site. And if you don't have the technical expertise of a Grayson Bell, then you're really in trouble.
Yeah, so a lot of times they will just tell you, hey, go find a developer. I mean, that's not very useful, right? You know, like there are other companies, SiteGround's really good with it, and their live chat they'll get on and chat with you in like 30 seconds or less. There are other companies, so I have a lot of websites. I have a couple on SiteGround. My main site, Debt Roundup, is on a company called Big Scoots, funny name. Smaller outfit, but they will actually go in and dig into a problem for you. You'll never find that at any other company, but they don't do pricing games. They are literally, this is how much you pay. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, move on. Yes?
Which ones are some of the better ones besides SiteGround?
How much is Big Scoots every month? It's significantly more, isn't it?
No, their basic one starts at like $3.95, but it doesn't give you much.
Okay.
It's a very small, it's basically like our, they give you like 1 gig of space, which isn't much. Yes?
Is it difficult, if you are on Bluehost, is it difficult to move to something like a SiteGround?
Nope, SiteGround will move you for free.
The SiteGround and Bluehost and all of that we're talking about, is only if you are doing a blog on WordPress, or do you need that for Blogger or anything?
Blogger,
No.
Blogger and Squarespace are hosted environments. You don't need a hosting account for that. You just need a domain. You basically just need a domain, and you pay them a fee. I think Blogger runs yearly now. Squarespace does per month. You get a deal if you pay per year. A lot of places do that. Yes.
So if I already have a business site, but I also want to add blogging, I would maybe still a URL for the blogging and then just attach that to a tab on the business site.
Do you want it on the same URL? You can do like a subdomain, like blog.whatever your URL is, .com. That's probably the easiest. Is your business site already on WordPress?
Well, no,
Yeah, you can just create like a menu item in it and link to wherever.
Instead of setting up a whole new URL, just to do like a sub.
Well, you can do a subdomain. It would still be, if you wanted to use WordPress, it would still be a full install of WordPress. It would just, the domain would actually be a subdomain. And a subdomain, for people that don't know, is like blog.yourdomain.com. Technically, the .blogspot ones, those are all subdomains. So it's a folder of your main domain. So it's really, you know, I mean, like in your case, that would probably be a good bet because you can keep your branding. You know, you can keep your domain and you just add like blog or whatever you want to call it. You would have to set all that kind of stuff up. I think Wix, you said Wix? I think Wix allows you to do that kind of stuff. If not, wherever you got your domain at, was it Wix? Man. Yeah, you can do it all in there. It gives you a little area to do what they call DNS, which is domain name services. You can actually add all that data in there, but that I don't want to get too technical in that area. But yeah, you can do it. They can help. They should be able to help you too.
Just do a subdomain instead of actually creating it.
Yeah, you would still have to install WordPress on it and all that kind of stuff, but it wouldn't be a totally different new domain. Kind of keep your branding specific that way.
Can we go back to that first slide that we had up?
Sure.
So to finish up our first slide, we were talking about having a headshot, having a gravatar, and then the next thing we wanted
know where it
to
went.
mention is a logo and a tagline. So a logo, you do not have to hire a graphic designer and spend $800 on a logo unless that's just your heart's desire. You can go and purchase a stock photo and use that. You can not have a logo at all, which I would recommend trying to have a logo. We went on to iStock Photo. I think we spent $7 on a little piggy bank, and that was her logo for the first 3 years that she blogged, because we didn't have the money. I mean, like, I was tapped out after I spent $79 on a theme for the website. Yes?
Fiverr is a good place. I will give you a warning about Fiverr, just so you know. You're paying $5. Sometimes you can pay a little bit more if they give you like Rush. A lot of those designers rip off real designs from other companies, and it breaks copyright law, and you are the one responsible for it. So just be careful with Fiverr. Yeah, if you do that, yes. But a lot of people are like, this is my website, make me a logo, and they will. But what they're doing is they're ripping it off of somebody else's. I know a couple people that have been sued for it, and they're like, well, I bought it from this guy. Well, whoever they were using was in India. You're not going to be able to capture that guy under U.S. law. Good luck.
Or purchase the stock photo yourself and provide it to the designer to add your URL onto it. But you need to have a logo, and a lot of bloggers want to have some sort of tagline. Do you have a tagline?
I think I just changed it. I think it was like make money, save money, invest. It's just whatever the blog was
Right,
about.
it's just a little tagline under there. So you want to think about that. So getting started, you need a headshot, you need a gravatar, you want to come up with a logo, and you want to come up with a tagline. It does not have to be rocket science. You can change your logo anytime you want. You can change your tagline anytime you want. This is just a basic getting started. Have something, and then move on.
Yep,
So I think we can go to our next.
For a logo too, you can try a company like 99designs.com. What this does, they have different packages. But what this does is basically, something good going on over there.
It's Josh.
What they'll do is it's basically like a competition. What? Yeah. They're gonna bust through here. It's about. 99 Design does like a competition. You send out what you want, like, hey, these are the colors I want. You have to be a little bit more specific, and a bunch of people will compete and give you like, it's really great if you're not really sure what kind of like logo you want. And I think my first logo, I paid like $149. I mean, for that it wasn't a lot, but I got literally like 105 submissions of all these different ideas, and it helped me. I'll be like, oh yeah, that'd work. Like something I didn't even think of. Because I'm a terrible designer, I'm not gonna lie. I don't go down that route.
Right.
But cost me $149, but I upgraded because I wanted more submissions because I really wasn't sure what I wanted. But they have, if you've never done it before, they have all these like coupons floating around online where you can get it for like $49. They'll give you like 25 submissions or something like that.
We live in a town that has a university, and my husband contacted one of the design classes at the university, and it was a project for their students, and that they got to make a pitch and chose that.
That is a great
a
great
great
way to
idea.
do it as well. You can reach out to college students. It'd be amazing if you paid a college student like $10 what you get. You get a lot of things. I mean, they just want some food or adult beverages. Don't pay them with adult beverages. Pay them with real money. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Just be careful if you're going to use don't ever scrape anything off of Google Images, all right? You will get sued. There are a lot of people that's their main job, is they have algorithms and software that's find if their image is on a site somewhere, and you're the one, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for every one that you take.
I have a friend that just this year, she did a blog roundup on her site. So what she did was she featured other bloggers. She's a mom blogger. She featured other mom bloggers, and she pulled in their content that they had written articles about a similar topic. And so she's trying to do this good thing, right? Feature other bloggers, expose them to her readers. They all did the same thing. It's a great way to acquire new readers. Well, what she didn't know is that one of the posts that she pulled in, she used the lady's image, her main image from that blog post. She pulled it into her blog roundup. This year, she was contacted by an attorney for the photographer whose image it was. She assumed that the other blogger had purchased the picture. She had not. She had scraped it off of Google Images, used it without permission. Guess who paid over $2,000 for using that image without permission? Because she made an assumption. And the other blogger declined to help cover those expenses that she created for my friend. So that one image cost her over $2,000. It is imperative that you either take your own pictures, because you can post your own picture, or you need to buy your pictures. Even if they cost you $1 or $2, don't go back and have it, what happened to my friend Jennifer. And to be clear, she's making some money off of her blog, but she can't cover, it was a painful thing for her family to have to pay that fee. And so she learned the hard way. Thankfully, she shared her story in a number of groups that we're in, so that others can avoid that. But you really do not play around with lifting images from somewhere you don't own them. Yes, ma'am.
So just this week I was looking for a picture image. I Google search, royalty-free stock photos, and it came to a site, I think it was called Axel or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I went into that site, and it allowed me to download it, and it didn't charge me. So do I assume that it truly is royalty-free when you do something like that?
I would never assume that it is royalty-free. I would assume the opposite, because that company can say that it's royalty-free and next week remove it from their inventory, and now it's no longer royalty-free. But see, you don't know that because it's already up on your site.
Yeah.
Buy the photos.
it's the same
Then
thing
you
with
know for sure.
It's the same thing with like Pixabay. It's a great way to go, all right, yeah, I found some free photos. Problem is that the copyright holder can pull that royalty-free tag any point in time, but they don't tell you. They don't email you and say, hey.
Basically always pay for your photos.
Yeah, I use depositphotos.com.
What do you use?
Depositphotos.com. Deposit, like depositing in a bank account.
So just to be clear, you could pay for a photo that is not actually royalty-free and still get sued, correct?
You probably can, but if you have a paper trail, it goes back to that company, because if you paid them for a license to use that photo, they are the ones that are going to be responsible for it because you have the paper trail that you paid for it. Mm-hmm. That's the beauty of paying for it. Even though you know, we have some crazy copyright laws, and we have people that go after anybody they possibly can. But if you have a paper trail, you are more likely to get out of that without paying anything than you are of, hey, I just scraped this off Google Images, or I found this on the site. It said it was royalty-free. This is a big thing going around in blogging right now, is image use. And a lot of people have been burned in the past year. It's gotten really bad.
And so just to give you a way to get the least expensive stock photos that I know of, through depositphotos.com. But first, go to a site called AppSumo, AppSumo, like sumo wrestler, AppSumo. And maybe once, twice a year, they will offer a special on Deposit Photos stock images. And you can get like 100 for $50. So you're literally paying 50 cents per image. It's the cheapest way that I know of to get good quality stock photos. They have hundreds of thousands of photos on Deposit Photo. So,
They have millions.
Oh, do they?
Like 32 million photos. So if you go to AppSumo and you see this little subscribe button over here, put your email in. They actually have some really cool software that pops up randomly. It just sends you when they have these deals. I have over 850 credits at Deposit Photos, and credits are what they use to purchase a photo. Because I think earlier this year they did 100 for $25, and you could buy as many as you wanted, and I just went to town.
Yep.
I bought just credit after credit after credit because I'll be able to use 800 photos for like 3 or 4 years.
They don't expire. The AppSumo deal doesn't expire. These images are yours to use in perpetuity. So it's a great way to get good quality stock photos. There are other sites that have really amazing photos, but you're going to pay $7 or $8 per photo. That wasn't something that we could do when we first got started. For every post, we couldn't spend $20 on pictures. So if you're able to do that, more power to you.
Yeah. Yep. So they, I think they do they have photos, but then they randomly push out new photos. They're in the same boat as those other ones. They are told that they're royalty free from the creators, but the creator can pull. They can pull it anytime they want. It doesn't happen all the time, but there are some creators who go, oh wait, I can make money doing this. Or I have heard that Getty Images is probably one of the worst people that do this. So they will find their images and they sue you for like $25,000 plus. I've heard that their attorneys have been reaching out to some copyright holders, and they're making deals with them to say, hey, if you pull this off of royalty free, we'll give you a cut of everything that we get. So they're basically going out trying to make money off of people that just don't know. I mean, it's not like unless you grabbed it and were like, yeah, I know I'm just scraping this, and I don't have to pay. Most people don't do that. There are some that do, but most people don't go out and scrape images and laugh, like I just stole this. Right. So just protect yourself. I mean, it's the same thing as insurance. We pay for it to make sure that we're going to be good down the road. It's kind of the same thing. It's like photo insurance.
Right. Okay, so let's move through the next slide a little more quickly. I don't want to run out of time or run out of question time. An editorial calendar. Anybody who's blogging now that's a new blogger that you're using an editorial calendar? Any idea what it is?
Got
Two
one.
people.
Two.
Two people.
Oh,
Four.
There they are.
Okay. An editorial calendar is just a fancy way for saying that you're going to schedule out your blog post. So instead of sitting down at the computer and daydreaming for a while about what you're going to write about that day, you actually plan out a schedule. And part of your editorial calendar is how many times you're going to post per week, per month, whatever that looks like. So in the beginning, I thought that Eva was going to blog 3 times a week.
I did 5 days a week.
Are you kidding me?
Burned out pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's going to last about 2 weeks. And so I'd encourage you to set up a reasonable schedule for your blogging and try to, it's not about quantity.
It's not.
It's about quality writing. So whatever blog post you're writing needs to have value to your readers. And so sit down and have a brainstorming session. You can do that here at FinCon. While you're here, you'll get lots of ideas. Find a couple of websites that you love reading their content. They're going to give you some ideas. Not that you're going to copy their content, but maybe you have a unique perspective on that topic or on a related topic that you want to write about. And I would suggest trying to develop 3 months worth of editorial content for your calendar. So maybe that's once a week, maybe that's twice a week, maybe you're going to blog every day. I don't know how long that'll last, but that's what an editorial calendar is. So you're a professional and you're going to plan out what you're going to write in advance. And the further in advance you can write and schedule those posts, the better off you are. Yes.
When you said planning it out ahead, do you mean like coming up with headlines for 30 posts, or you mean like actually writing?
Usually topics.
At least topics. I would say maybe writing at least like what I would call a pitch, you know, like a paragraph about what that article is going to be about. And then I would start trying to develop that content. If you're going to try to interview someone, it's going to take you 5 times longer than what you think it will or what it should. Because you've got to nail them down. They've got to get back with you. You've got to set up a time that you can talk with them or that they can email you back their answers. So you want to do interviews way in advance. I would say at least a month, maybe longer for interviews. And so an editorial calendar also is thinking like, okay, December 1st is not the time to think about writing a post for Christmas, right? Like August is the time to start thinking about what kind of value are you going to give? What kind of, I don't know, what do you write about at Christmas? How to get good deals on Christmas presents.
Yeah.
That's
Something with Amazon affiliate links to make some money.
right, something like that. But you want to think about that ahead of time, right? You don't want to be thinking about it the week of Christmas. That's too late. You need to get that up at the beginning of December. And so that's another reason that an editorial calendar is so important, because it gets you thinking ahead of what you're going to write about.
Yeah. And you can move stuff around. I mean, you
Right.
control it. It's not like it's got to be this day. Especially if you have, you can run topics off of current events. You know, like if you have something that's 3 months down the road and some current event happens that they would be perfect for, move it. You know, it's not going to change it. I mean, just swap the 2 articles if you need to. I mean,
Right. Eva does that all the time. She'll have she has a team of teenagers that write for her site, and one might say, hey, I have this really cool idea, but it needs to go up quickly because it's about Halloween, or it's about Thanksgiving, or it's about Christmas. Then she'll just bump everybody, you know, down a week or something, and she'll insert that into the calendar. So that's simple to do.
yeah.
Okay, social media.
Social media. So, I mean, obviously, if you're going to write a blog post, who's going to read it? I mean, like, if nobody knows about your site, I mean, except your mom.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom or your friends or your wife or significant other or somebody. Social media has become quite powerful these days. Everyone's on it. So
It can also suck your life away.
Woo! Real quick.
Seriously.
So I mean, you need to be on the need to be on the main ones. You know, Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest. I don't do a lot of LinkedIn, but I know a lot of people that do very successfully on LinkedIn. Yes.
You set a separate account for your company, for your Google.
Yep. So if you already have a personal, you typically want your own branded like Twitter profile or Facebook page, Pinterest account. If you do a lot of that stuff, I'm terrible at Pinterest. I have one, but terrible.
We're great at Pinterest.
Well, there you go. Or you know, LinkedIn. You can't do LinkedIn is just personal, so you can't really do that. What are some other ones? Instagram.
Instagram, absolutely. Snapchat. I mean, it depends on who your readers are. I mean, you know, like we have a Facebook page for TeensGotCents, but guess where teens are not? Correct. That's correct. So their parents are, so sometimes parents will see an article and share it or whatever, but it's all about Instagram, really. So you need to know your audience and where is your audience. And I would encourage you, do not start with 5 social media profiles. Start with where you think your audience is. So if you think your people are on Facebook, just have a Facebook and focus on doing that well. Grow a relationship with people. If they leave a comment, respond to them. Be authentic. And if it's on Instagram, then do Instagram. And once you get your Facebook strategy down and you've built a small, it is so much better to have 30 people following your page who comment and share and are engaged than having 10,000 people follow your page who never even click like.
Yep.
I promise you 30 people is so much better of an engaged audience. So get that going the way you want, get your Facebook or whatever going the way you want, then add another one. Then add in something, okay, I think I need to start Pinterest. But do that one well before you move on to the other. I think that's a lot more important than trying to hit it all and be mediocre at all of them.
Yep. And social media kind of runs into, yes.
Well, I was just gonna say, for me, you were saying I also have, I focus on Facebook, but at the same time, I make sure to grab the names for all of them.
Absolutely.
It's a great idea. So grab the names for all of your profiles, even if you're not going to really get on Twitter, immediately, or Pinterest. At least try to grab something as close to your blog name as you possibly can, so you have control over it. Even if you're not going to finish setting up the profile, that's really good. So yeah.
Do you ever recommend having your, if you have a business website and then having the blog within the website?
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah. So if you have a business site and you put the blog inside basically the business site, WordPress does a really good job with that. You can have static home pages and pages, and then you can have an actual blog page that have the different blog posts. So that's yeah.
I want to get your thoughts on if you were doing this anonymously, what are the pros and cons and how to go about it? Because I feel meeting officers just random where no one really gets to know you, I'm wondering how much of a disadvantage that would be towards.
You ever heard of Budgets Are Sexy? Jay Money? He's anonymous. People know him as Jay Money, but that's not his name. Anonymous is much harder because people like me, I can find out a lot about you. Most people think they're anonymous. I can find out where you live. I can find out a lot of things about you without probably only taking about 10 minutes. But I don't really care. I don't do that. But a lot of people go under the ruse of anonymous because they, I know there are topics I've had a blogger where I set them up anonymously, and I did it it took a long time because they wanted to share some very personal stories about stuff that happened to them, and they didn't want their family and stuff knowing. So there are times when it's necessary, but I've actually seen a lot lately where anonymous bloggers have now become,
Yes. They've revealed themselves.
Yeah, they've revealed themselves, and they were anonymous bloggers for 5 years, and then now it's I think we all change and evolve as we blog. We start doing this, and we're going, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna go to this complete other topic or something like that. Or you start getting these opportunities. I know a lot of bloggers, they'll start out and then become freelance writers, and they can't really freelance write anonymously over here, and then they're using 5 different names, and it just gets confusing, and that's when things slip. So a lot of people have kind of just moved and they're like, all right, I'm not going to be anonymous anymore.
Right.
Or they'll shut down the site that was anonymous because it was very personal, and they'll start something completely new, either under their name or brand, something like that. So.
And it's a safety issue for some people. I mean, for us, Eva was 16 when she started her site, so we had some questions about putting her name and her image out there. And so in the beginning, for the first couple of years, everything came to my email. No one could contact her that it didn't come through me. And in 5 years, of course I don't do that anymore, she's an adult, but the first 2 or so years we did, and never did we get one questionable anything. That's not everyone's experience, but that was our experience. And so we never had that issue. I mean, people leave rude comments. Don't you? You get rude comments occasionally.
Every day.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right if you don't get rude comments. I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it right, if you don't get rude comments. Yes.
So if you're gonna do a blog for within your business website and for your business, do you recommend having a different name for your blog or just having
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It's not really necessary. I think you're just complicating it a little bit more than it needs to be.
I'd keep
would
it simple.
Just keep it simple. So it's already 4 o'clock, and I think we got 4:30.
Yep.
We're going to run through this real quick. Social media and promotion of content are basically almost hand in hand these days. You promote your content by putting it out in front of your fans or putting it out on social media. Pinterest is really good. If you're good at images, I'm terrible at them, so I don't really do them very well.
But don't just put it on social media. If you do an article about, I'm going to use an example. Eva did an article about CarMax and trying to buy her first car. Well, she sent that link to their PR people at CarMax, and they shared that article all over their social media. They sent her like a $75 gift, which we weren't, this was early on, so she wasn't making any money, so that was thrilling. So don't just put an article on Facebook and expect that 300,000 people are gonna see it. Give it some thought and promote your content to people that you think are gonna be interested. And if you mention a company in a favorable light, I'd send it to their media department for sure. And then start networking.
I would say social media all the way through start networking is kind of combined. We're networking here, right? This allows you to do some crazy things like guest posting on another person's blog. Great way to start getting traffic is find a blogger that has a lot of traffic and say, hey man, I got this topic that I really want to write about, and you write them a guest post. Most FinConners here, I accept them. If you have a really good idea, I'll take you. I'll give you a link back to your site, and if you get traffic, good for you. That's a great way to do it. So you kind of start talking to each other, and if you write really good stuff, most of us will promote your stuff to our own social media followers. Like I know Jay Money does it all the time. If he finds something really good, he runs Rockstar Finance, which is basically like a networking channel. He finds good blog posts and he just shares them, and the Rockstar Finance site gets hundreds of thousands of views a month. So
all he's trying to do is help other people.
I think it's called the Rockstar effect, is what he calls it, because you'll see people's.
Photos, right?
Huh?
But no photos.
He creates. He typically either creates his own photo it's just like a little snippet, because he doesn't mess around with that kind of stuff either. But
Right. But ask people to guest post. If you meet somebody here that's new, that they're just getting started out, or maybe they have a little more experience, see about exchanging guest posts. You never know what people will be. The reason that we're even here today is because the very first year Eva came to FinCon, 4 or 5 high-profile bloggers said, yes, you can interview me. Yes, I will do a guest post with you. Yes, you can guest post on my site, because everybody here at FinCon wants to help each other. And so be careful to remember that as you're trying to get in with other people, that you also try to help others at the same time.
Yep. So we're going to run this.
So we talked about domain and hosting.
Yeah, we are domain and hosting. If you're using WordPress, the power of WordPress, self-hosted WordPress, is in their plugins. Plugins are added features that a author or a developer has created. There are hundreds of thousands of them.
And it's something as simple as a contact form. You know how every website has a contact me page? That's a plugin. And you can get those for free on WordPress, and it allows somebody to contact you through your website.
Yeah, there's stuff for security, there's stuff for backups, everything that you possibly can imagine, opt-in forms for your email list, email marketing. There are plugins. If you're going, I'd really like to do this, Google's going to be your best friend. Someone's probably already built it. That's the power of WordPress, is it's open source. So if I wanted to create a plugin for something that I needed, I can create it, and anyone can have it. That's the beauty of it. There are paid plugins. Like there are many companies that do paid plugins, so they build it and they charge typically a yearly fee, most of them do, for a license. You can use it. The beauty of when you use those is that even if you pay for a license, you can stop paying, you can keep using the plugin, but you just won't get updates. And updates can typically be security issues that they find, new features, or fixes. So updates are usually a good thing. You don't usually just want to stop paying for the license unless you're not blogging anymore. So there are tons and tons and tons of plugins. It could be
Right.
overwhelming.
You can Google search anything that you need on your website that you want it to do. Like if you're a food blogger, there are plugins that will pull in recipe cards so that
Yep.
it makes it super easy for your readers to print out a recipe card from your site.
Yep.
Simple things like that. And then pillar content, I think that's something really important.
Yeah, so pillar content is basically the foundation of your blog. What is your blog about, right?
You cannot blog about everything in personal finance.
I tried.
You can't,
Terrible.
you don't want to do that. You want to focus in on what you're going to blog about. So if you're going to blog about debt, then blog about paying off debt and maybe how you might want to branch out into side hustles that could earn you money to help you pay off your debt faster. But you see how you're focusing on that one topic. You're not writing about 27 different things because you need to find your people that identify with what you're writing about. And you can't be all things to all people. So pillar content, usually you're going to choose 3, 4, 5 areas that you're going to blog about. What are the ones that you blog about?
Mine are different ways to make money, save money, beginner investing, not advanced investing, and different ways to pay off debt. Doesn't matter if it's student loan, hospital bills, credit card debt. I focus on those just 4 areas, and that actually gives me a lot of range in between those 4 areas because there's a lot that you can do. But as I said, I don't get into advanced investing and stuff like that. That's not where my people are. If I send out a post like that, crickets. People they're not going to come and read it. So I know some people that just focus on financial independence. That's all they focus on. Or
Retiring early.
Yeah, retiring early, or some are like really real estate investing. Whatever you're passionate about and you have knowledge in, you can talk about. Because I will say this, readers they like to, I don't know, I've written about like Straight Talk Wireless before because I used it to save money on my cell phone bill. And now people think that I work for Straight Talk, and they're like, hey, I put this comment on here, and I need you to fix my phone. And I'm like, I'm not Straight Talk. So now I have and I only talked about them once, and now I have all these like crazy people that think I'm Straight Talk, and now they like badmouth me on social media. I'm about to take that post down because it's just gotten out of hand. I mean, like, you have to be careful with some readers, so don't talk about things you don't know about. I mean, luckily, I haven't talked about Straight Talk for like 4 years. I don't know what their service plans are. I don't know where you can even get them anymore. But so you have to kind of just be careful. Like, don't jump down the rabbit hole on a topic that you don't really know enough about. If you want to cover it, ask somebody to guest post on your blog. Somebody that knows it well. If you know their blog, you can say, hey, I'm really trying to cover this topic. A lot of the FinConners here, man, we're a pretty giving group. So if you ask one of us, and if we know it well, we can probably give you content. So, just ask. It's not bad.
Any questions about pillar content before we move on?
When did you know to start outsourcing your content creation?
When I didn't have time to do it anymore. So I've outsourced my content creation for well over 2 years, 2.5 years. I still write here and there, but like my focus is on my services business, so I don't really write for my blog anymore, but I still have, I only do a post a week. I started out at 5, so you can change your frequency, because let me tell you, a lot of people get really excited. They're like, yeah, I got all these ideas, and 5 a week is a lot.
That's crazy.
It's a lot. There's some really great blogs that only post once a month and they get hundreds of thousands of views. So it's really not about frequency. It's about how well it's written, what it's about. So
And 80% promoting that blog post and 20% creating it.
Yep.
So if you spend 3 hours creating a blog post, you have many more hours to promote that blog post. And that's what a lot of beginning bloggers get wrong. They spend 80% of their time creating content and they do hardly anything to promote it. It needs to be the opposite. Mm-hmm. Of course, in the beginning, you're going to need to write more because you need to have more than 2 articles on your site in the beginning. But keep that keep that in mind to promote the content that you write. It does you no good to write a fabulous article if no one knows about it, no one can find it, and no one reads it.
Yeah.
So you got to get it out there.
So are you better off posting, say, 5 or 6 articles, but promoting them one at a time over a period of time?
Yeah.
So they're just
So if you, like, I usually tell people if they haven't even started a blog, like get like 6 or 7 articles already written before you make it live, as people like to call it, because then you actually have something on your site that says like, hey, come to my site, check it out. Like instead of there, you go, oh, you got an about page, great. Like you only have like 1 article, so have something, and then you can promote those. Promotion never stops.
right.
You know, like it never stops.
So go ahead and put them all out there and
Oh, yeah.
but then
Yep.
promote them.
Yeah, so you
Right.
basically, you can publish them all at one time if you want to. Like, no one's going to know. Like, a lot of people, common misconception, a lot of people think when you make your blog live, like, now it's out in the world, everyone's going to come. No, no one's going to come. It's not that.
No one.
It's not that, we built it and they will come. No, it doesn't work that way. Like, you can post as many as you want, and then you start promoting those. And what I do is something I wrote like 3 or 4 years ago, I'll rewrite it because it might have been a great structure. I'll rewrite it and then I'll like push it back out again if it's something like holiday time. You don't have to keep writing new stuff all the time. If you have a great post that had great traction last year during Christmas time, put it back out there again. Start promoting it. It'll probably get good traction again, unless like if it's dated.
You can always update it, though.
Update it.
Don't write a new one. Update the old one.
Yeah, a lot of people do that problem is they are like, I need to rewrite something. You already got it good.
What changes, if any, did you notice in traffic when you started outsourcing your content creation?
None. Yep. So I do promotion. I do the SEO on my site. So SEO, search engine optimizations, to get the Google traffic. So I kind of focus on those things. I don't want to write it anymore. I'll also do the monetization. I'll add the affiliate links and stuff like that because I know all that. My writers, like, it's hard to teach somebody that's not in your processes, all your processes. And I'm really good at affiliate marketing, and my writer is really good at writing. So I'll take his writing and I'll monetize it, and then I'll publish it.
We didn't see any difference. When Eva was about to turn 20, she started looking towards hiring a team of teenage writers because she wanted to maintain an authentic voice. She still runs the site. She still writes for the site often, but she has a whole team of writers now because she wants it to be for teens. And there's just been a steady increase in traffic. We didn't see a big increase. We did in the beginning when some of the writers first started writing because they're excited and sharing with all their friends. We saw a huge increase in social sharing for that writer's article because they were excited to be writing and to be a published writer. But we haven't seen a decrease or a huge increase.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a lot of writers, you tell them what you want them to write. Like they'll pitch me topics, and I'll go, not really onto that one. Let's try something else. Let's try something else in this, realm over here. Or I'll switch pillars on them. I'll go, no, let's talk about making money this time. Let's talk about saving this time. Let's talk about debt this time. Kind of switching on them. So, you got to remember though, you're still responsible for really the traffic. They're just the writer. They're just writing. Not a lot of them, unless you pay them good money, not a lot of them are going to sit there and promote for you. It's not really their job.
Right.
And last piece, you probably heard, yes?
How much would you pay someone to outsource the writing
Really depends.
to arrange? What's the minimum?
Well,
If you want a good writer who's going to be able to write to SEO, like you're going to give them a keyword and they're going to write about that and they're going to do a good job and you're not going to have to proofread it and you're not going to have to edit it and you're not going to have to come up with a headline, and I'm telling you, you're going to have to do all of that stuff if they don't know what they're doing. I mean, I think a good starting point is about $100 if they're not super experienced. But there are freelance writers at FinCon that are making $800, $1,200, $1,500 for a 1,000-word post.
Yeah.
But they're highly technical writers. They've got 10 or 12 years of experience. They have journalistic degrees. And so there's a huge range. But I mean, but I see people all the time writing $800 or 800-word post for 25 bucks. You know what? It reads like you paid 25 bucks for it.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I will say there are times, and I've struck gold a couple times with some freelancers that just came up, just started, really good writers, they just don't know their own value. Okay? I'm still a business. All right? I got to make money off this post. You give me your rate, I'll pay it. Like, a lot of times I'll go, no, you're kind of undercharging. You know, you give them the little wink, and they'll be like, okay, how about an extra $10? And you're like, sure. You know, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm not taking advantage of them. That's what they gave me as their rate. So they just don't know their value. Most of those people end up charging you a lot more later down the road. They'll come.
They get wise. They
get
understand,
wise.
yeah.
Or they, but don't be afraid of taking, I can't even say advantage. That's just wrong. Use them. If somebody comes to you and says, like, if you find somebody in FinCon or the freelance or marketplace or whatever, you're looking for a writer, and they give you a rate that you like, and they write good stuff, most of them have portfolios, use them. They'll probably come up later down the next year and say, hey, my price is going to double. You say, okay.
How do you qualify them? Like, what are you asking them?
It depends.
Sometimes they'll have a portfolio of articles that they'll submit to you. Hey, I've written this, this, and this on my site and on 2 other sites. Here's an example of my work. That's a great way to read their work and see what you think.
I actually reach out to people that I like already, that I read their stuff, and I say, hey, are you interested in earning some extra money to freelance? Most people go, yeah, sure. I said, well, what's your rate? And then I basically do it like that. So I go and actually, I will say poach. I poach people from their own sites because if I like their writing, I don't have to qualify them anymore. If it's a style that works for me and I can monetize how they flow and all that kind of stuff, I'm good to go. I saw a hand over here. Yep.
Do you know of any freelance writers who will engage in like profit sharing, like
No.
I do not.
I don't.
I wouldn't, but.
Do you ever have any luck using images from Creative Commons?
I mean, you can still do it. Again, Creative Commons can be pulled. So I can pull Creative Commons off my image if I want to. So.
Hey, Grayson, I just want to make sure I'm asking this question before the session ends. For a starting out blogger, what's the threshold before you should be able to reach out to introductions to those affiliates and say, hey, I would like to promote your product or your site?
You mean like readers, social numbers, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, affiliate marketing is based off traffic, really. I mean, if you're really niche down and targeted, you can do really well with affiliate marketing on certain things. So like Commission Junction is a network. I don't know if they have a threshold or not. I think
I don't know.
you have to I think your blog has to be around for like 6 months. I think that's like their main threshold, and maybe like have at least 1,000 visitors, not a month, just like I hope you had 1,000 visitors. But it's just a network. It just has a bunch of programs that you can apply to. The program then gets to approve you or not. A lot of times for newer bloggers, you get automatically declined, but you can go back and reach out to the contact. They always have an email address, whoever runs the program, and say, hey, I got automatically declined because it's set up to just auto-decline new bloggers. It's like what it is. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I got this really great content. I love your product or whatever like that. I would really like to promote it. Most of them will bring you in. So you need to be around for at least 6 months. It's really in the traffic. Traffic is what makes you money over time. So if you don't have a lot of traffic and you haven't been around that long, I wouldn't even try jumping into affiliate marketing. Amazon, you can get started up. They don't even care. I think their threshold is like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Something crazy, but.
I don't know if you're going to touch on this, but what about disclaimers? Do you have any sources?
That was here.
So we can talk about, disclaimers. If you're going to do affiliate marketing, specifically, the FTC has really cracked down over the years, especially lately, about disclaiming your relationship with advertisers that you have. It's gotten really tough on social media for that kind of stuff. But on your own blog, you always need to disclose when you have affiliate links. Since I have affiliate links in every article that is written, mine is a general disclosure.
So you can get away with a disclaimer tab?
Well, what I do, it's got to be above. It's got to be
top of the post.
before any links. So like mine's at the top of, or usually we set them up at the top of the article, and it'll say like, I think they just changed it too, where now you got to be like, we will receive commission from this article if you use these links, and then you can link to your full disclaimer page. So you can have like a mini snippet, and then you can have literally a full page.
What about investments? Because a lot of times, you have to be careful about giving investments.
Yeah, you got to be. A lot of people just do general in a sidebar that's on every page, or a footer that links to a even. I don't have any people that do investing. You'll probably find a lot of them like Investor Junkie. He's around here. Ask him. He's got some great disclaimers.
And you can Google it too, and they'll give you actual wording that you can use. Yes. I would Google that.
Yeah, for investing and stuff like that, there's so many different, depending on what investing you're like talking about, there's so many different ways. I will say a lot of people don't want to pay for it, but if you upfront pay for, like a attorney to give you like quick disclaimer page, it's probably the best money you're going to spend, because you'll get like a legit, like they'll go over your disclaimers and go, oh, no, this isn't really good enough. I think we actually have quite a few here.
Right, especially for investing.
Yeah.
I would say maybe not for the other.
I can't wait to say it's for educational purposes.
Yeah.
Right.
Educational purposes. I just was wondering if there was a source for it. Just like you're saying, some people out in the expo may.
Yeah, I don't have a source for disclaimers, because they're all kind of different. Like almost every site should have this is for educate, and this is for like informational purposes, or whatever. This is my personal experience. I'm not an advisor or kind of thing like that. You always just need to protect yourself, but reach out to whatever niche you're in. A lot of those people will probably just give you their disclaimer page and say, hey, just wipe out my name and put your name in. A lot of those are general enough that'll get you coverage
Right.
where you're kind of not in trouble.
The last point we were going to go over is go ahead and establish capturing email addresses now from your readers from the very beginning. You might only have 10 people on your email list, but those 10 people, they're your 10 people.
Yep.
And so from the very beginning, get a plugin that will allow you to capture email subscribers. So when they come to your site, they see a place where they can enter their name, they can enter their email address. You promise not to spam them every day with emails that they don't want to get, but you contact them every few weeks or once a month, and you let them know about the newest things on your site. So definitely get started with email from the very beginning. Once you have a good following, they say that for every time you send out an email to your email list, every email subscriber is worth at least $1. So
That's the goal anyway.
That's the goal. If you have 50,000 people on your list and you launch a new course,
Yep.
here's
So
hoping you make $50,000 off the launch of that course.
So you have to, just start harvesting emails. I hate the word harvest, but that's kind of what it is. There's services like MailChimp, MailerLite that are free for the first 1,000, 2,000 subscribers, so you don't have to pay. Then you go up like ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Drip, which are all monthly fees. Really good functionality, but you don't need to start out at those unless you're really going to be doing some crazy stuff with
Exactly.
with your email list. But that's the one thing that you can control in blogging is your email list. It's hard to control. Facebook literally just changed their algorithm on pages. Pages don't show up in your Facebook feed anymore, especially on mobile, unless they promote. So you have to pay to get your content in front of people's faces. That's now just changed the game. That happened this week. So don't put all your eggs in the social media basket. I know a lot of people that love Pinterest, and they're like, man, I'm doing 200,000 visitors a month. Pinterest changed their algorithm. Now they're doing 30,000. You just lost all that traffic because all you did was focus on Pinterest. It's a complete game that you got to play. It's got to be everywhere. It's got to be social media, SEO, email, direct traffic, all this kind of stuff. It never stops either. Don't think just because you wrote it, we're good to go. It's done.
Right.
It'll never stop.
So we're almost out of time. We want to be respectful to the people that are here next, and so we're going to go ahead and go out. I'm available. Grayson, are you available for the next few minutes? We'll be outside in the hallway. If you have any questions, we'd love to connect with you. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you all.